that's something that's so important that not many people come to realize is how much power
Mhm.
you have because you get to choose where you put that energy.
Let's start a podcast about our mental health for no good reason why. Let's call it
Bites. Ooh, yum, 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 yum. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Mind Bite with me, Lee Crompton, where we revisit some of our older episodes and distill them down into wee slices of goodness. The best bits, wee reminders of the good stuff, and some stuff you've not heard before, which is what's happening here, because we had a very long conversation with Amy Alexander. This bit is about manifestation. So if you're interested in that stuff, then maybe have a listen to this. It's essentially mind cake, but in snack form. Fewer tangents. So I thought you might like that. Anyway, here's Amy.
With visualization, the next step of it is it's the emotions as well that are in play. So it's not like you same with Lewis Capaldi. It's interesting because how would you feel about Lewis Capaldi being on your show?
I think it would be because no disrespect to Lewis Capaldi, but I've not contacted or tried to contact Adele because I think that's a bit much. Not to but I think Lewis is a much better fit because he's from Glasgow, because he's
Yeah.
clearly had mental health issues,
Oh,
because we're
yeah,
doing a
yeah.
mental health podcast. I can see that alignment and gone. He'd be great to have on.
Perfect. You said alignment. So that feels aligned, right?
Yeah.
So that's cool. You know, what to do there is, and this is part of coaching as well, like it all comes part and parcel of the same thing, is that when you visualize, just you visualize after the fact. So how you feel when the podcast goes out, how you feel, what are people saying about it? What did Lewis say about his experience with you? Like, so you picture getting the email from him or a phone call saying, do you know what? I really enjoyed, speaking with you. I really, admire what you're doing, and I'm glad to be able to connect with you on this level and share this with other people, particularly in Scotland, because it means a lot to me to, be in my sort of birthplace and share this with people around me. Whatever it is, picture what you picture it going really well for you. What would be in alignment for you look like? And you feel how you would feel. So maybe you feel like I feel really grateful for him being on the show or for having this wonderful discussion, or I feel so alive and buzzed and excited, or maybe it's a feeling of calm, but feel into how you feel. So the emotions, and this is where we get to the vibes. The emotions are a vibration. So when you notice yourself, when you get goosebumps
Yeah.
when somebody says something and you're like, oh my God, like, and a couple of times while we've been talking, I've had, oh my gosh, that's that thing. And I've been thinking
The
the same thing,
connection.
so yeah. And so that gives you a certain feel that a buzzy energy. And
Mm.
that buzzy energy is a vibration, simply. It's just another word for that high energy. When you feel that high energy, you then attract more of that high energy. So let's say that instead of Lewis Capaldi, it is Adele that comes on your show because you've been in this vibration is Adele that comes on, or gosh, any other awesome person like the people that you wouldn't expect come onto your show as well, because when you're in that state of slightly higher vibration, you know what it's like when you're feeling great, the day goes really well, you bump
Mhm.
into awesome people, somebody does something really kind for you, somebody lets you in front of them in the coffee queue. I
Yep.
don't even drink coffee. And the things just suddenly feel like they're in flow, and that's because we're feeling good. That's what we're giving out. That's our chemistry. I look at it as like basic science lab stuff when they talked about the enzymes. This ends with this enzyme and it causes this reaction. So if you're feeling good and meeting somebody's energy at that feeling good level, you're going to create chemistry together that will be totally different to if you were low energy and feeling aggravated and stressed.
Yeah.
That might really clash with somebody's energy. So if you're feeling If you're kind of really constantly thinking about the things that you want and doing what you're doing by choosing where you direct your energy, then you're going to attract more things that are on the same level as that energy. And the more that comes, the more that snowballs. Instead of spiraling down, my wonderful coach Alka talks about this. Instead of spiraling down, you can spiral up.
Mm-hmm.
So you choose how to spiral. And the point is that it's not being attached to the outcome. It's this is how I want to feel. And then other things that you could never ever have guessed or planned, because we're only human and the universe is much, much bigger than us. Other things come into your life, and a lot of them will be so much better than you ever expected.
Well, yeah, I mean, you talk about putting yourself out there, and I had this conversation with Kay at Casey Holistics. She was at the market again? Listeners will have heard this story before. She was at the market stall in Knutsford when I randomly went for this, and it was random. Went for this reading with Cara, and because I ended up talking to her and going, well, I'm not going to get any crystals now because I'm going to see this healer and she's going to tell me which ones to get, and was all very kind of offhand with it. Well, as soon as I'd had the reading, which was remarkable, I went back and sought her out and got chatting to her about what had happened. She's then on the podcast. So you can say with that energy, or even me and you've done this thing, remarkable thing. And I've looked at that and curious about it. Here we are now. I mean, I don't know how long we've been. What I was thinking was actually this is like a mini episode in itself, because you asked me a question about half an hour ago, which I can't remember what it was now. You asked me a question and then we stopped, and then we ended up coming back onto like sort of energy
vibes. So there's another thing that I would say about the vibes.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is, okay, somebody has said that you'll have Lewis Capaldi on the show.
Yep.
If nothing happens the way we expect it to happen. And if you just have that mind of, oh, okay, A equals B, so therefore I must call his manager and try and get him on the show if that's going to happen. It might be nothing like that. It might be if you follow what makes you feel good. If you follow the good vibes, follow the good vibes, follow the energy instead of follow the yellow brick road. It could be that you like randomly you're trusting your intuition and you're like, do you know what? I'll go into this coffee shop because the coffee shop's made such a feature. I'll go to this coffee shop right now. Just, I've got a little bit of time. Yeah, I feel good. I'm just going to get my cup of coffee. Maybe you meet Lewis Capaldi there and have a conversation. You don't know what it's going to be. It could be something completely unrelated that feels good. Maybe you're supporting, one of your wife's causes that, she's working on it, and you meet somebody through there who knows somebody. It's just being open and living your life and being open to these possibilities. So these things can come to you. I thought I wanted to be a dancer, and various things have come into my life. I'm like, sure, I'll do Pilates. Sure, I'll try a bit of musical theatre. Okay, maybe this isn't quite right for me. Maybe I'll start doing a lot of walking and doing all these things. And then yoga landed on my lap just because I felt like, okay, universe, you're throwing so much resistance to my path. What have you got? And then it led me here.
And I get that, but I'm going to put my logical brain on.
Go for it.
Okay, so something else that I did, I went to the London Construction Awards 4 weeks ago. Not interested in the London Construction Awards at all. Only reason I went is because Tom Davis was giving out the awards. Okay. And I've written a script with him in mind.
Okay.
And I've been trying to message him. And after my success with Alistair Campbell, where I've just put my hand up at the Q&A at the end and gone, will you come on my podcast? And he's gone begrudgingly, well, not begrudgingly, but in front of 200 people, it's very difficult to say no. Managed to get him on. I thought, do you know what? I'm going to use Alistair Campbell as my example. I'm going to go to the London Construction Awards and I'm going to put myself out there and I'm going to see if I can nab him for 5 minutes at the end and get his email address and send him a copy of my script, which, long story short, that's exactly what I did.
Well done. That's amazing.
You. So I've sent him a copy of my script. However, that to me is different because I am making proactive choices to get me to a point. That is different from me bumping into Lewis Capaldi in a coffee shop in Glasgow? Because is that the universe or is that just chance?
They're an excellent, excellent question, and I love it. So you're absolutely right. It's combined with action. So you don't just imagine something into existence. And I think that's what the secret, what people got a bit confused. Oh, whoopsie. Because it seemed like you imagine a bike and a bike just appears. And this is me getting really excited in this conversation now. Everything's falling apart. It's like you imagine a bike and the bike just appears. You've got to take action as well. And it's the balance of the two. And it's knowing when to take action. So it's great that you contacted Lewis Capaldi's manager. If that didn't happen, maybe now is not the right time.
Mm-hmm.
Now's just not the time that it happens. That's okay. So you keep yourself open. Habits are everything. So if you're habitually feeling frustrated and you don't change that about yourself, your body will look for things to feel frustrated about. We know this. We have a habit of mood. Like maybe you're a bit grumpy and you're habitually grumpy. So you're kind of, your body likes the familiar. So we'll always seek out what feels familiar. So if you choose to feel better, if you choose to feel more like into, I'm going to focus on exactly as you said, you're going to choose where you direct your energy onto the things that bring you joy, the things that make you feel good, the things that you want to invest in, but you want to grow, then your body goes, this is our normal. This is comfortable. So we're going to align and attract and take action on things that keep us feeling this way. So you actively look for things unconsciously that keep you at that vibration level. So it's not, yes, you emailed or called the manager. That's brilliant. You also keep taking action in different ways, what feels good, on what keeps you at that vibration level, because it might be another complete different way. So yes, it might end up being that you take tons of action and then it is that you go into a coffee shop and have a chance meeting. It may be, but action is so important. Because there is a level of chance. Yes, of course there's a level of chance. And really, it's like how we say, oh, you're so lucky, you're so lucky. It's like, yeah, how much have you created your own luck? Because if you know what you want, you basically have to set the compass, right? So you're saying, by the way, this is true north for me. And everyone has a different true north. I've got a different true north to you. And I'm like, this is what I feel I thrive in and I would best offer the world. This is what I feel I can offer the world. So I'm letting the universe know this is my true north. This is what I believe that I want, because this is how I want to feel. This is the impact I want to have on the world. So whenever something comes up, an opportunity that feels like it's in alignment with that, I'll take action on it, or I'll proactively take action and see what comes through and then resuss what feels good from there. But without having a direction, without having a goal, then you're not giving the universe anything to co-create with you. It's like, I don't know what you want here. We're going to give you a bunch of things, but you don't know what you're looking for. So if you don't know what you're looking for, then how do you know what to focus on? And we've only got a finite amount of attention, as you said yourself. So you have got to decide what you want to put your attention on. And if that's feeling a certain way, having your podcast have a certain number of listeners or have a certain impact, or the way that you want to feel just as a person within your family, then that is the best possible action you can take, is any actions that align with those things. And if it happens to lead to Lewis Capaldi, then it does. But if it doesn't, you're never going to regret taking actions on feeling the way that you want to feel.
Well, I have two things to say on that. Is there any way of finding out whether Lewis Capaldi drives a Fiat 500? Because that would be spooky if he did.
Stalking.
Well, he's in the Glasgow. He should be in the Glasgow area. So I'll just,
Which I do not condone, by the way.
No, do not stalk anybody, particularly not Lewis Capaldi.
Stalk anybody.
The other theory is that Paul Beeson, co-host extraordinaire, has suggested that maybe it's an Adele or a Lewis Capaldi that happened to work in the construction industry.
You never know.
Which I thought was a bit of a cheat. But then I realised that I have in the construction industry already worked with a Barry Gibb, a Finlay Tickle, Mr. Tickle, a Jerry Berry, and an Alistair Campbell. An Alistair Campbell that's not the Alistair Campbell that was on the podcast.
But a construction Alistair Campbell.
Alistair Campbell, yeah.
Wow.
Ali
mean,
Campbell, not to be confused with the other Ali Campbell, who was obviously the lead singer of UB40.
so basically, things can get a bit confused or lost in translation.
Very much so. So
So
I'm
that's where
fully
you got to get specific.
Yeah, I'm fully expecting to bump into Lewis Capaldi, who works for, I don't know, a bricklayer or somebody. Yeah, funnily enough, that I know someone who mentioned, oh well, we're going to see my son and his wife Adele, and I'm like, oh my
Oh.
God, Adele? What does Adele do? And I'm thinking, if she works in the realms of mental health, this is it.
Uh-huh.
No, she's a lawyer.
Well, actually, lawyers could have a lot to say too.
I
They've
mean,
got to deal with a lot of stuff.
look, I'm trying to get on board here, but that is tenuous.
If it doesn't feel in alignment, then it's
not,
not.
it's
But
not
the
in
other thing
alignment.
is to keep an open mind to something better. Like for example, the biggest companies I have had the fortune of acting for have been some of the worst experiences I've had on
Oh, really?
set. Yes, which was not my expectation. And one in particular, it was a dream. It was a dream to work for, and I did. So I achieved a huge dream of mine. But honestly, it was one of the worst. It was one of the worst experiences. Yet the other ones that came along when I was doing my thing and feeling good and focusing on other areas of life and just focusing on I suppose what brought me joy and having a passion and that kind of thing, and going, you know what, I'm going to do my thing for this, and it's just going to be my version of this. Those have been the things that have been the best experiences I've ever had. And the booking.com one, for example, actually, that is one of the most fun jobs I ever did. And it was just like, what happened was in the audition, I hope I'm allowed to talk about this now. In the audition, it was a group of American guys, it was on Zoom. And they said, okay, so you're gonna act around this like loosely based script, and you're basically gonna say like, oh, aren't you that guy from that thing? But you're not allowed to mention anything that we're gonna say that it's maybe, for example, Idris Elba, but like it's probably not gonna be him. But you're not allowed to say anything that Idris is in, okay? I'm like, okay, sure. And I thought, how cool. I get an opportunity to improvise. I love improvising. So I just threw everything out the window and they went, okay, go. And it's just going to be like 30 seconds or so. Yeah. Like, cool, great. I'm on it. So I started and I was like, it's just like, aren't you that guy? Oh my God, no, that guy from that film, when you climb up the wall and then the zebra, the one, oh no, he's also in that other one. And I went on for about 5 minutes later, they had not said cut, and I was on a roll, and I kept going and going and going and going and going. I was just in it. I was just having a great time, like just playing. And it was my intention at that point, like I think that especially that day, it was my intention to be playful. And so all I had to focus on that day was being playful.
Yeah.
And at the end of the 5 minutes, I looked back at the film and they went, okay, cut. And I looked back and there was like 5 of them there that
really?
they'd all come to the good time. And that the commercial, we shot it once, and then I got a call. I got the dream call like about 4 weeks later from the producers themselves, who said, are you free in 2 weeks from now? And I was like, why? And they went, well, we'd really like to shoot another commercial with you. You were great fun, and you were spot on, and you have a flawless American accent, and you gave us so much ideas, and you were really great at improv, and Idris would love to work with you again. And I was like,
wow.
Let me just think about that for 2 seconds. Let me check my diary, see if I'm free. Yes. And then the second it was brilliant. And it was just so much fun. And being in a playful state brought all of that. Brought a blooming brilliant, fun actor.
Yeah.
He's just a great guy and very generous, very, very generous on set as well, and just could not have gone more out of his way to make everybody there feel valued and comfortable.
No, I was going to say that I I don't have an Idris connection, but when my screenplay was optioned by a production company, James Corden's, he was my best friend and then an asshole when he decided that he didn't want to do scripted anymore. Wanted to other than Gavin and Stacey. Anywho, yeah, I was sat in a hotel room in Glasgow because they'd flown up from London to go through the pitch document and story arc and what have you. And I said, we touched on this earlier. I said I need to be a little bit careful with some of the subject matter that came up because it's dark comedy, very dark comedy. And I was explaining to one of the script editors that had come up from London that look, if my computer was impounded, I'd have maybe some issues on my hand because some of the stuff I've had to Google to sort of get to some of the story matter and subject matter that I've been kind of is really quite dark. And she said, "Oh, I wouldn't worry too much." She says, "I've just finished working on such and such a certain project." She goes, and that's like really dark stuff. And I'm like, "Oh right, what was that then?" She said, "Oh, we just finished series 4 of Luther," and that was a pinch me moment when I've gone, "Okay, so you've just finished doing Luther, which I love, and you're now sat in a hotel room in Glasgow." Going through parallel lines with me. That's yeah. I mean, it's not, don't get me wrong, it's not the same as acting in a commercial with Idris Elba, but it's one of those moments where you go, what? Sorry?
Do you know, actually, in that context, you're talking about, so Idris is a writer and producer as well.
Mm-hmm.
And you're a writer and you're sitting there with the same person.
Yeah.
And we sat down with Idris. When I was on set with him, he said something that I'm going to share with you now because I feel like it aligns perfectly.
Right.
And I said, we were making a joke about something because we're having a gas. And I said, we did this take where at one point, like, you know, because it was all improv back and forth when we were filming, he gave me this one line that I was like, and I struggled to give him a line back, and then they went cut, and we burst out laughing. I went, "Oof, oh, you got me!" And he was like, "I got one in. You've been running around circles around me all day. Like that was the first one I managed to get in where I got the last line." I was like, "Oh," or like that. I was like, "Listen." I was like, I mean, I am not under any illusions, Idris. Like, you know, you've had a hell of a lot more experience than I have. And he said, we're both here right now doing the same job. We're both in the same place. And so to your point, I'm going to share his wisdom that he would share with you if he were here. That he shared with me, which was, you're both in the same place. You're both writers. And I think that's, you know, that humility speaks volumes as well. But yeah, like take those moments for yourself. Like don't compare yourself. You're both in the same place. You're both actively writing. You're both going for it. You know?
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, okay. I think what I'm going to take from this is to focus less on Fiat 500s.
I think that's a good takeaway.
So that was Amy. If it's whetted your appetite and you want to hear the full episode, I've put the links in the show notes. Please follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, all the usual jazz. It really does help. And if you're off to manifest Fiat 500s, please do it responsibly. In the meantime, remember to look after yourself, be kind to others, and in the words of Dr. Jan, don't be a dick. Thanks for listening.